I'm John Kearns, co-founder of New Bloom Labs. Today we're breaking down an important part of the new rules that regulate hemp-derived cannabinoids in Tennessee. So let's take a look at what information is required on a Tennessee compliance certificate of analysis. COAs are an important part of these new regulations because they provide proof of testing and compliance for each batch of hemp-derived product that's sold in the state. Basically, these COAs are how manufacturers prove to their customers and to the state that their products are safe for consumption. But not just any COA will work in Tennessee. Specific information has to be presented and formatted in a certain way to satisfy Tennessee's requirements. Before we look at the COAs though, now's a good time to take a look at how Tennessee defines the term batch. According to Tennessee's rules, every batch of hemp-derived product requires testing, and a batch is defined as an individual production lot of manufactured product. Keep this in mind, because it'll come up again here in a minute as we take a look at the COAs. Also, any Tennessee compliance testing must be conducted by a laboratory that's registered with the state. New Bloom Labs just underwent the registration process, and it involved a rigorous technical review of our operation. It's clear that the state of Tennessee takes the quality and integrity of these lab reports very seriously. Let's start by taking a look at the basic formatting requirements for these testing reports. Each COA must contain these basic elements: the laboratory's name and address as registered with the Department of Agriculture, also the product manufacturer's name and address. In other words, where was this product made and who made it? Testing methods. The lab must disclose on each report exactly what analytical methods it used for each test that was conducted on a Tennessee compliance sample. Finally, sample history. This is simply the date range of the time that your sample was received and in the lab undergoing testing. So those are the basics. But Tennessee also has very specific rules about the data tables on a testing report, the product and sample information, and how all of that is formatted. So here's the sample information that you will need to provide to the lab in order to format your COA compliantly. Number 1, unique identifying information for the sample. This is just a fancy way to say sample name. Number 2, the batch number of the production run that's being tested. This gets back to our definition of batch as an individual production lot of product. You'll want to keep all of these batch numbers organized and updated in real time, both for your COAs, but also for your production and inventory records. And be mindful that the batch numbers on the COA must match the batch numbers indicated on your product packaging. Also, a QR code that links to that matching testing report must be on your packaging as well. And all of those batch numbers must match. Let's look at how we format the actual testing results. To meet Tennessee testing rules, every data must include the following information. First, a pass-fail indication for every analyte on the report. Keep in mind that if any substance tested doesn't meet the tolerances in Tennessee's rules, then that product can't be sold in the state. Second, limits of detection, limits of quantitation, and concentration results for each analyte. Now, some of this information can get pretty technical, and we'll cover it in another video. But for now, it's important to know that these data are how we know that the testing that was conducted meets the precision requirements for hemp-derived products sold in Tennessee. Third, measurement of uncertainty. Now, this one can be a little confusing, but in short, measurement of uncertainty is a data point that's calculated by the lab that serves as a buffer against the state's pass-fail tolerances. Regulatory agencies require these measurements of uncertainty because they recognize that small variances in testing results occur in the real world. So if a result falls within this buffer, then a sample can still pass compliance. Keep in mind that these rules requiring this testing are in effect and actively being enforced now. A few final points to keep in mind as you prepare your testing program for these new rules. All Tennessee compliance COAs must contain all of the elements that we've outlined here. Otherwise, it will not meet Tennessee rules. Also, if you have a full panel that was published prior to 2025, then it won't meet these requirements either, because Tennessee didn't have registered labs until now. Finally, accurate COAs are not just paperwork. They're proof of compliance, and they're very important for maintaining the safety of products and protecting consumer confidence. If you have any questions about these rules, we would encourage you to call us anytime. Of course, you can also always call Tennessee's Department of Agriculture for any specific questions about any Tennessee rules. Thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions about Tennessee's new testing rules, feel free to call us at the lab anytime. As always, we're here to help.